Hey everybody, welcome back to What the Hell, Vedika. Today we have Becca Berg from Dubsado.
Join Mike Janda and guests to discuss the things that make creative people say, "What the hell, Vedika?"
She is an amazing entrepreneur with an amazing tool. Welcome, Becca. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me here, Michael. Really excited to be here.
We got on a call like last Friday or Thursday or something. We launched into talking, and then I said we have to just cut it off because I like the small talk stuff to be part of what we record. We could have probably gone for a couple hours that day.
Yes.
So to get started, let's just jump right in. Give me in one sentence, what is Dubsado?
Dubsado.
For people who don't know.
Dubsado is a client management system for entrepreneurs to run their business in one place.
Okay, I love it. Now, in a world where we have tons of project management software, client management software, we have all kinds of software coming at us from all over. Why Dubsado? What makes the difference? Why should somebody choose you instead of all the other options?
Such a saturated market, right? And we knew that getting into it. And we went into it with this purpose of we want your brand as an entrepreneur to be front and center. And we don't want any type of Dubsado on anything, or we want your brand to be at the forefront of everything that business owners do. So that was number one, what sets us different. And number two, we are one of the best in automations of our competitors in the market. So we dive deep into those workflows. You can automate so much on Dubsado, which can save so much time and setting up your processes and systems, which we know is the key to running a really successful business.
Okay, that's a good answer. It's a good answer. It's a hard one for a lot of entrepreneurs to answer. And I always ask that question to people I'm coaching, because I think if you can figure out what your differentiator is in the market, like there's so many options, why should anyone choose you? It's the question that should keep people up at night.
Yeah.
Sitting there staring at the ceiling, thinking, why me?
Absolutely.
Of all the choices.
And that was our purpose when we first started out, because it was such a saturated market. We really needed something to stand out, to set us apart. And so it became literally our pillars at day one of like, all right, this is what makes us different. We're going to focus everything on those two things. So it just became the
So those two things being a branded experience, and the other differentiator is?
Automation. Very, very deep automations.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Give me an example of an automation in your system.
Oh, that's my favorite. I think one of them would have to be our, say a lead inquires on your website and you want to send them a proposal of your services. And if you have a service that you're providing that is a little bit more hands-off, maybe you need to book a call with them, maybe you need to do those things. What if you can just have all of those things happen for you? So the lead inquires on your website, they get your proposal, they sign the contract, they pay an invoice, all within literally just a couple of minutes. And then after that, they get an automated email that sends them to schedule a call with you if that's what you want to do, or whatever else process that you want to do. But I think that proposal, contract, invoice, all in one form, sending automatically after the lead inquires on your website has to be one of my favorite flows that we have.
So it just kicks out automatically, no call with the client before.
If you want
it
to.
Just, okay.
Yeah.
So how does somebody choose that? Because I'm a big proponent of first step, get them on the call, because if I know I can get them on a call, I can upsell them into a higher price. If I just kick over a proposal automatically, then it's going to encourage price shopping from the clients that I tried to target. Now, that's not bad for some people that are trying to play in a price competitive market.
Absolutely.
But I'm a big fan of the trigger being lead comes in, I get them on a qualification call.
Yeah, and that's totally.
So how does your system handle that?
Yeah, so same thing. You have a lead inquire on your website. It's your Dubsado form that you embed on your website that looks like any type of contact form that you have. And then you can have your workflow behind the scenes in Dubsado say, hey, when this lead fills this out, can you send a scheduler to this lead? And after that lead schedules the call, do you want a reminder to go out? Do you want additional things to happen behind the scenes as that goes on? But you can totally, and that's the beauty of it, what your processes are can be put into Dubsado because our automations are so flexible. We don't have a rigid system that you need to kind of mold your business within Dubsado, the platform. We are a little bit more loose in terms of the automations that you can do, which that's the sweet spot.
What's the format of a proposal coming out of your system? What is it? Does it kick out a PDF? Does it kick out a web-based form? What is it? How does it get delivered?
Yeah, it's all web-based. So you can, as a client, sometimes clients really do like that pen and paper thing, and they can totally export it as a PDF what they want. But the purpose of Dubsado is to keep it all online. So the client or your lead will go through and fill out this web-based form. They will go through and they'll sign a contract online with your e-signature and the IP address, all time-stamped and all of that, and they are able to pay online. So everything is housed online, which makes it so easy because as a business owner, you're on the go. Like you need to have stuff in one place, not all over the place. The purpose of Dubsado, because my systems were a wreck before I created Dubsado. So keeping it all in one system on the cloud just makes it easy when you have to go back and refer to things and not have your 2-year-old draw all over your contracts, which is what I was running into.
You were?
Yes, I was.
So you have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old,
Yes.
both boys. I think we talked about that. So that was 10 years ago, right? The 2-year-old era for you. So let's get out of the weeds of Dubsado and go back to these entrepreneurial beginnings, because that's what I think is so fascinating. Not everybody is cut to be an entrepreneur and to pursue it the way that you did. You started in 2015, if I remember right. Is that right? Okay. And before that, okay, so give me your life story in like 5 sentences leading up to 2015.
I love that. I grew up
very specific questions.
Yes, I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. My mom owned her own modeling agency.
So lucky. Let me just interject there because I did not grow up in a family of entrepreneurs. And so I had to figure out what it was even like, and the money management and the stress and the never turning off. I never saw that in my life growing up. My dad was a career guy working at a pharmaceutical company, or not a pharmaceutical, an orthopedic company, and spent 30 years there. And he did great and was successful in his career, but he never talked about his job. It was come home and that was the end of the day and life was going on. But entrepreneurs, man, I think that if I would have been in an entrepreneur house, the advantage I would have had. Okay, sorry for interjecting there, but you're so lucky. You're so lucky. It's a different ball game,
huh? Like to even as you to watch your family and your parents have that job, and now you being an entrepreneur, it's a totally different perspective on
I intentionally entrepreneuritized my kids.
Yes.
That's what I did. We would sit, I would talk to him about money. I asked my son, my oldest, he was probably 16 when I asked him this question. I said, hey, how much money, or I said, how much is $100,000 a lot of money or a little bit of money? And he was like, it's not that much. And then I said, how much do you think the average income is in the United States? Average household income. Guess the number he said.
100,000.
I'll give you a guess. 300,000.
Oh, shoot.
He lived in a world where he thought everybody was making 300 grand or more. And there was a moment when I said, okay, I felt some pride as an entrepreneur dad to help carve out my son's money blueprint in a way that he felt like this was an attainable amount of money and it was normal. But then on the other side, I was like, man, and I'm just entrenching him in freaking privilege that he doesn't appreciate. So it's a dual-edged sword, that piece. But I was doing things like that to intentionally make my kids think more entrepreneurial. And they saw me buy buildings and things and build my studio, and they would come to the studio space and stuff. So they had that whole experience. Okay. So you grew up in an experience like that. Now go back to your story. Sorry for
Yeah, no, I love where these take us. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs, so I was always at the, we didn't have cell phones back then, so they had to stay at the office late to not miss things, especially as in the entertainment industry. That's where it all, you needed to be in the office to make sure that things happened. So grew up with that. At 12 years old, I started my own jewelry business with my best friend.
You did.
Yep.
Good for you.
And she's now our chief people officer.
What were you doing? Oh, really? Oh, that's fun. Were you doing like beads? What was this jewelry that you were doing?
Yeah, we were hand making bracelets and necklaces. And then where I was like, oh, I can actually source other things that people make and then sell them as well. So I started to get into that. And it was really great because we were actually making some really good money during the summers after school and such.
Okay, what was really good money? I mean, at 12,
yes.
How much money were you making?
I think 1 month I made $300, and I was just
$300
over the moon,
good.
excited. And what was fun about it is I went and got my own beads, or I went and sourced my own things, and I learned the value of, this costs something. I now need to price it more than what I purchased it for. So there was it was a really good learning opportunity for me. So I took that and did that for a little bit. Then I started working at my parents' agency behind the scenes. My dad also started a software company, so I started working on that as well with him. And then I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to work for myself. You have to have, I saw what it did to my parents. I saw how hard it was, and they had to be on all the time, and there's no rest. And I was like, what? I just want to go home at night. So I went and I got a degree in deaf studies for interpreting for the education space. Yep.
Well, that's a super interesting little tangent.
Totally random.
Why were you, why? Were you just super interested in Helen Keller, or what was your passion that led you to that?
Actually found it was something that I naturally gravitated to because I did horrible in school. Was not able to comprehend what teachers were saying. I believe I am pretty dyslexic. I haven't been tested on that, but I have been diagnosed with ADHD, OCD, and autism. And it all makes sense now, later on in life. That diagnosis just came in my 30s. But back then it was just so hard to learn. And I felt like I was falling behind. I had C's and D's. It sucked. And I noticed when I had to take a language in middle school and I started taking sign language, I was like, I'm actually understanding everything that is happening because it was very visual. It was very tactile. And so my brain was able to process the words and seeing it happen. And I was like, got this, I can go for it. So I took it all of high school. And then when college came around, I was like, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. And I did all 4 years during that time.
That's cool. Where did you go to college?
California State University, Northridge. I went to CSUN.
Okay.
Yeah.
I lived in Valencia, so right by Northridge, right there. Yeah.
And
I was working at Fox and driving the freaking 405 every day down to Century City, it was miserable.
Yes.
My second son was born in Northridge Hospital.
Oh, there you go.
Case in point. So there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really great school. And even though I didn't use the degree, it taught me a lot about hard work. I don't think I've ever worked so hard.
What was your dream on this? Going into deaf studies, you're like, I'm going to be a UN interpreter or something. What was the grandiose vision that you would go to school for that for?
I loved working with kids, and part of another business that I started up in between, college and high school was I started up a photography business. And I really found my focus was in children's headshots because my parents had a modeling agency. So it did kind of blend nicely. And I really, really loved taking children's headshots. They were just so fun to make laugh, and I could really get some great pictures, and it was a lot of fun working with kids. And when I went to sign language, I was like, you know what? I really want to work in the education space around 1st to 3rd grade for interpreting in the school setting. And so I did a lot of internships around that. I did internships too for college classes. Those were freaking hard. So I was like, nope, I'm going to go and interpret in some elementary school settings. And it was such a valuable experience. but something in the back of my head was like, you need to do more. This isn't enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you stay practiced up on it? Like, do you practice during staff meetings where you're just trying to sign while you talk? What's your objective on that?
It actually is a tool that I use now when I have a really hard time focusing and I notice that my brain is drifting off or I'm not understanding something correctly. I will interpret in my mind what that person is saying so that I can process it differently. And even I'll listen to podcasts a lot on the way to work, in the car, and on the way home. And still, I have a hard time audio processing. So I'll notice when I listen to a podcast, I was like, you know what? Let me just interpret it while I'm listening to the podcast. I retain so much more doing that. And I'm also really excited because my son, who is now in middle school, is starting sign language classes. And I was like, I have someone, I didn't teach my kids sign language because at that time I was like, I'm tired of this. I need to do something new with my life. But I'm excited that my 12-year-old is now getting into it. So
is he doing it because you were like, Mom, pushing him into it? Is that, be honest.
He knows that I never taught him. And he knows that I knew sign language. And I left that door open. I was like, we could secretly talk to each other, and Dad and Noah, the younger brother, I was like, you won't know. So I think it was something, it's a fun thing between us
super
now.
fun. Yeah. Special connection.
Exactly.
I love that. I have friends that he's from Mexico and she's from the States, but she speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
And in their house, she would speak English to the kids and he would speak Spanish so that they were both bilingual, or so all their kids were bilingual. Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
It's
such a good little technique.
So cool. Yeah. I wish I would have taught the kids that, because there's something with the bilingual brain. It's so powerful. And I wish I would have, but here we are now, 12 years later.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of things that we wish we would have done that we can't go back and do.
Nope.
Like sometimes our entire lives, but we won't get into that today.
That's another podcast.
All right. It is another podcast. Okay, so we go to sign language, you graduate, you start being a photographer for children's headshots. And I know that photography was your creative business. How did that, and talk about your husband. What's his creative background and how did you rope him into this whole mess that you got yourself into with Dubsado?
So when my husband and I started dating, I was trying to build my photography website. And I've always been I don't know if anyone here remembers this, but Neopets at my time growing up, it was like an online game. Do you remember it?
Yeah, Neopets was one of my clients. No, yeah, we did. We probably did, I don't know, $700,000 worth of online games for Neopets back in the day.
I loved that growing up.
Went to their offices all the time. They were over in Glendale.
Oh my gosh, that's where we are.
Just downtown.
Dubsado's headquarters.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, well, right by. I don't know if that Beard Papa Cream Puff or anything is still over there. That little stand. That was another client of mine back then.
So cool.
Anyway, they were right by it, but downtown, like in the little walkway plaza with the buildings and restaurants and all the stuff.
How freaking cool.
That's where Neopets was.
Well, it was in Neopets that I found, because you can have your little shop on Neopets where you can sell things, which was like, yes, I love selling things, but I would customize that shop with HTML. And that was like my favorite thing to do. So I was like, I kind of really like this. I get to code a little bit. I mean, it's just HTML, but I found like passion in creating something online that can showcase something that I'm selling. And so I always had that in the back of my head. And so when I met my husband, Jake, I was building my photography website. And at that time, Flash was like the big thing when building a website.
Yeah. All our games we were doing for Neopets were in Flash.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
they were all Flash.
I was having a really hard time wrapping my head around, like, I don't even remember what it was, some file, FTP files, and all of this thing that I needed to.
Swift files, probably, SWF. Yeah.
And I was stuck. I was almost there, but I was stuck. And I was like, hey, Jake, I know you're going to school for computer programming, because he wanted to be a developer in some way. He still didn't have his specialty. And
was he your boyfriend at the time, or is this how you were hitting on him?
No, he was my boyfriend at the time. Yes.
Okay, he was. Okay.
And we had just started dating, and I was like, hey, you're taking these classes. Can you please come help me with this? And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll come help you. Little did I know that he had literally just started getting into development. And probably at that time, I knew a little bit more than him in terms of like coding and all of that. And so he, I guess, fudged his way through trying to impress me to make it look like he actually knew what he was doing and helped me launch my website, get it up and running.
Look, that's what guys do their entire marriage.
Yeah.
That's not just how he hooked you. He's still doing it now.
I was impressed. I was impressed.
Yeah.
And I think I'm even more impressed than you
it's
just
all a
figured it out.
show. It's all a show. Okay. So he fixes your flash files.
Yep. And then I continue doing photography. He then like does little web design projects. He actually then, just for the sake of money, goes and starts working at a retreat center, managing a really, really great retreat center up in Santa Barbara in the mountains up there. And it was like a really beautiful location. However, there was a lot of weddings, there was a lot of events, and the place that he was helping manage, it did not have a system to manage these weddings for the contracts and to pay the invoices and all of that. So he was like, I need something. I don't know what it is. And at that time, I was also getting into doing more weddings myself, which require a lot more than just taking headshots for children. And I was like, I feel extremely overwhelmed. And there was one point where I was like, I was sitting there at my desk because I used to work out of my parents' modeling agency. I was like co-working that while doing my headshots. And one of my headshot people walks in and I was like, hi. And they're like, hi, I'm here for my headshot. And I'm like, oh, great. And I look at my calendar, there's nothing on it. I go and I look at my emails. I was like, crap, I never put this on my calendar. So I made it seem like, I was like, oh, let me just go get my camera, AKA running home to get my camera. All of that, figured it out. But that was like my final straw where I was like, I need something to help me run this. But back up just a little bit, Jake was getting to become a better developer. Jake was like creating systems of his own. We actually started, it's a little bit of a touchy subject now because Instagram automation bots aren't where it's at. But my husband and I created an Instagram automation bot long time ago. And that was like his first thing of like starting a software and like letting it run and getting lots of people. Like
for likes and comments and things.
Yeah,
oh, boy.
That was us.
So, okay. You were... Oh, good.
But it was a really great opportunity for us to like, that's where I learned a lot of customer service. That's where I learned so much in that. And that was starting to die down, obviously. And I was like, I don't talk about that one much, but
no, I'm glad you brought it up.
Yes, it's part of the story. And so it was in that where I was like, Jake, literally like Charlie, our 2-year-old at a time. I was like, he's literally drawing all over my contracts. I am missing these headshot things. I feel overwhelmed, especially as a mother too. And as new parents, we're like, what the heck do we do? And I was like, can you please build me this system? You ask him this story, he will say it has a different start because apparently, according to him, 2 years prior to that, he was like, Becca, I think we should start a client management system. I said, Jake, that sounds boring. That sounds horrible. But now that I had the need, I had the goal in mind for what problem I wanted to solve. For me, it made sense. I really wanted to focus on creative entrepreneurs, people that were solo entrepreneurs growing their business and really needed to make their brand shine and save a lot of time cutting out all the admin processes. And so we looked at each other. I still have the text message chain where the idea formed. And I love going back to that just to remember where we came from. And we got started on it that day. I made a landing page. I set up a newsletter thing so that I can start getting people on our newsletter. And it was out in the world.
But you didn't have a product at the time, or
did
you
not. So I just
launched. Wow.
told people what was coming, get in on our newsletter. I started up that Instagram account and was talking to them about, I was trying to figure out like what problems are they experiencing? I was really heavy in Facebook communities to try to get a deep understanding. Yes, I was having the need.
Solution, love.
Yep. But I also wanted to know what different photographers were feeling, what different web developers were feeling versus just my needs. So as I was like sourcing all of this, Jake was behind the scenes. We set ourselves 3 months to build it.
So is this like 2014 or so?
This was
I'm just guessing. You launched in 2015?
We launched our beta
It was 2015.
in 2015.
Okay.
We launched generally in 2016. So
I see.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
you launched the newsletter before the product, but it was all 2015.
It was all 2015.
during that, right?
Yep. I think
Yeah.
May 2015 is when we launched our newsletter, and October 2015 is when we put out our first beta product.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Good for Jake. Jake's your husband?
Yep.
Man.
All by himself.
He slayed it. Good for him.
He did. He had 72 hours where I don't think he slept at all. And the morning of launch, I came out and I saw him laying on our office floor at home, and he was just knocked out. He was toast, but it was done. We launched it on a Sunday.
That's
so
awesome.
that's where it came to be. And beta was awesome. Like, it had nothing to it. We didn't even have a way for people to pay. To like send invoices and get it paid. You can just send an invoice.
Yeah.
You can just send a contract. So we had the core stuff there. But what was really fun about that time is I learned the power of working with a community. And it doesn't have to be perfect what you launch. It's if you are listening and working with people, you could build something truly powerful. And that's how we got our start, is we just got in eye to eye with all of our users that were coming on, and they were like our board of directors. Like, in our 10 years, we're celebrating our 10 years in February. In our 10 years, we have not accepted a single dollar of funding, and which is wild for a tech
You mentioned
company.
that on your site, and I love that, because a business like yours, oftentimes to scale, you're going to get some funding.
Yeah.
So I love that you're proud of that. It's hard to do. How did you make that happen?
It's extremely hard to do. And I think that's why I drove so hard on focusing on the newsletter, focusing on word of mouth, and really listening to our people, because I know that we couldn't put a whole bunch of like fancy things out in front of people. And I knew that we didn't have that. We couldn't launch features left and right all of the time. Like, it took a little bit of time to build. So I focused on really, really building those connections with the people that were using the product. Because when people feel invested in the product that they are subscribed to, there's a certain level of deeper connection there. And they're not just going to up and leave. They're not just going to churn, because they're like, oh, no, I'm helping build this product. And another part of being self-funded is literally every dollar that we made and every single user that paid us, they were something extremely special to us. They were our investors. And so we treated our users like they were our investors, and they're our board of directors. So we have to serve them very, very well. So it really taught us the value of those personal relationships with our users, and also the importance of every dollar that you make is so key and important, and we better use it wisely. So it was just Jake and I for I say a long time because it felt like a long time. The first year of Dubsado, it was just him and I cranking it out.
That was it, just 1 year, and then you started hiring people. What was your first hire?
Our first
What was
hire,
the biggest pain that you were like, I cannot do this anymore, I got to hire somebody?
development. We needed someone to
was.
help crank out the
Because
features.
Jake was hanging by a thread.
He was.
He could not do it anymore.
And poor guy, that husband and wife dynamic is definitely a little hard, especially at such a pressure point. But our first hire was a developer, and he was actually his brother, who is a really excellent software engineer. And so that was really great for him to not only have help, but to have someone who, they can read their minds. So it was a really great relationship between the two of them. Then our second hire was, I needed help on customer care. I needed help talking to all the people. So I hired my best friend, who was the one I started that jewelry business with.
This is like nepotistic business down
Yes.
all the way.
Honestly, when Jake and I got out and were trying to hire more, we literally went through our Facebook friends to try to see
You did.
because we were so small, and we we were moving so fast at the time. We didn't have great processes. We didn't have great behind the scenes stuff. So we needed people that knew us and kind of could read our mind and can move as quick as we could. It was beautiful in the beginning, but around like year 4 or 5, that's when we really need to be like, okay, even like a little bit before that, we realized the systems and processes that we didn't have hurt us. So now it's time to build.
Now we got to become a real business.
Yes.
I love that story. And I talk about relationship marketing all the time with creative entrepreneurs, because so much of your work comes from referral and repeat people who know you, like you, trust you, to use the cliche. And your first couple hires was your brother-in-law who had not burned the bridge. One of your close friends or your best friend who you trusted, these people who had nurtured relationships with you for years and years. Those are the people you look for because you trust them already. Yeah. And man, it's so important. And there's a thing that I talk about too, that I got from one of the networking groups that I belonged to, I don't know, like 15 years ago or something. And they talked about relationship arrogance, and that sometimes if we determine that somebody's relationship is not valuable to us, then we just ignore it and we're like, we don't need that. That's relationship arrogance. But people could have had that when you were scrambling around trying to do sign language for kids and then little kid headshots and things. People could have said, my relationship with Becca, it's never going to turn into something. And then all of a sudden you're starting a business and you're looking for people and you're going down through your Facebook trying to find people you trust and want to work with. That's who you're looking for. So I think you just never know what's going to happen in people's lives. So stay on their radar and build your relationships, especially now when we're going into this AI world where so many things are becoming non-human in our interaction with other people. So go all in on relationships, as evidenced by these people who got hired by Becca for the first 4 years. All of her friends that came to work for her.
Come on, even now, I still have, my brother is working at Dubsado. My sister-in-law is working at Dubsado. So we continued to source all of those people for years, because we also didn't know how to hire. So our motto at that time was like, work with what you have. And that was down to the money, down to how we hired people. We just needed to make do with what we had. And boy, we sure did it. We sure made do.
So good. Okay, so give me, how was your user growth during this run? Like this first year, second year, when did you hit tipping points where all of a sudden you were like chipping at the stone and then something cracked off and you had a scale moment? Give me some of that story.
It was actually pretty wild because we had the intention of Dubsado to go in with those 2 points that we talked about, the branded client experience and the automations.
So you had those dialed in from the very start?
From the very start, because we had knew our competition very, very well, which is so important when you're starting a business, and especially in the tech space. You need to know who you're up against, because you just don't want to be another system. You need to set yourself apart. So we made that from day one what we are attacking. And because of
Can you tell us who your nemesis is? Your nemesis?
Yes.
In that space? Back in that day. Honeybook.
And they
you
still
just wanted to freaking slaughter them,
right? And now Oz, their CEO, and I, we have wonderful chats. Like we've talked a lot in the past, and good relationship there. So it made for a really, really fun dynamic. I grew up with 3 brothers, so I understand competition very, very well. And so
I grew up with 4 brothers, no sisters. So everything was competitive. We got a lot of overlap in family history. Competitive, everything. And I can imagine with you being the girl and 3 brothers, even more so than my kind of Lord of the Flies upbringing.
Exactly. That I had I was always called delicate, the little flower protected one. And to me, I was like, you tell me that, I'm going to show you I'm not. I'm going to show you I'm the powerful one. So I had that like bite in me from the beginning. So when we moved into a space that was super saturated, we had Honeybook, we had other competitors in that market. I found
not just the competitors, but you had all of these other tools that were sort of competitors that people were using, multiple different tools.
Yep.
Project management, client management software,
DocuSign,
sales, CRMs. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's a benefit to people to use the best in class from 5 different tools rather than the startup that has everything under one roof.
Exactly.
So you're fighting a battle against some of the biggest, most established businesses that are solving the same problems for people.
Exactly. And that was always in the back of our minds, that like Honeybook wasn't the only one, but I think for us to stay really focused and pinpointed on what we are going after, that Honeybook, the similar CRMs in our space were who we were, quote, after, and trying to reach their audience.
Quote, you were after them.
I was after them.
You were after them. Yes. It's not that you wanted them to do bad, but you just wanted to do better.
Yes, I wanted to share some of their market.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Yes.
You wanted to share. That's so nice of you.
It made it fun from the beginning because I am competitive by nature. So I saw, I was in certain Facebook communities saying like, oh, this person complained about this with this client management system. Jake, can we get this done by next week? Awesome. Got it. So we would launch these feature campaigns where it would just like, I would market hard and not name the competitors, but be like, are you frustrated with this? We got it. And I would find those little holes in these other systems. And that was what I did day in and day out. And that's also what fed the product, was a lot of what our users were requesting and a lot of
so you signed up for all your competitors and dug into their tools to try and find the voids.
Yes. Absolutely.
I love this too. I love this. Another thing that I ask the people that I work with in a coaching aspect is to get to know your freaking competitors. You have to know them, watch their business so that you're seeing when they pivot and what the holes are and how you can differentiate. When I was working at Fox, the channel, I had TV in my office for I was over Fox Kids, Fox Family, over the creative. And I had on Cartoon Network the entire day.
Yep.
Because Fox Kids and Cartoon Network were the competitors at the time. And that was what I was all in on. I'll watch Cartoon Network because I wanted to freaking slaughter Cartoon Network.
Yes. You have to wrap yourself in everything that they're doing. And it sounds obsessive. Yes. But you have to, when you are building a business and you are an entrepreneur, you have to be obsessed, like totally engrossed with everything that you're doing. And it's hard. It's hard to like to have Cartoon Network on and watch your competitors. It's hard to see.
Oh, it would fuel my competitiveness.
Exactly. It
all
kind
day.
Of
I was
makes
like feeding myself rage.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It makes you, and it's not for the faint of heart. And that's definitely like, I love telling people like you do have to focus on your competitors, and it is hard. You're going to take a lot of like mental, emotional hits from it. But if you use that for a purpose instead of just sitting in anger and use it to fuel you, that's just like when I was called delicate, when I was called like, you're a girl, you can't do that. It's like, don't tell me I can't, because I can. And it's the same thing by listening and being really focused on your competitors. It's, you have to face the pain in order to turn it into something better.
Okay. Just talking about this, I'm at like a 6 out of 10 rage feeling inside. What rage level are you? Just talking about competitiveness.
I'm like a 7.
You're a 7.
It amps me up.
You know what? Now I'm an 8 because I'm going to win in how much rage we have.
Oh,
I do.
Man,
I do. That's how I feel. And I think it's common in entrepreneurs who find success. You have to have something that's fueling you. And for me, it was competitiveness. I would see the other agencies that were doing better. Even if they weren't, I would see what they were doing better than mine, and it would fuel me. I would always see the voids in what I'm doing and the strengths in what they're doing. And it would fuel me, probably not mentally healthy,
Right.
but I had a lot of success using that. What do you say to people? I think it's so critical for me as an entrepreneur. Competitiveness is the thing for me. What do you think the other drivers are for people? Do you ever think about how could you be an entrepreneur if you weren't competitive? Like, and some people are.
Some people are. And I think it's just about finding your niche of your brand, and what the business that you're building is uniquely you. So I am building a very competitive like business, and those are the type of employees I attract. Those are you attract all of that, and you attract that type of that energy gets put out, and that is your personal brand, right? And if you are a person who's not competitive, who is more free flowing and maybe a little bit more laid back, that makes your brand uniquely you, and people are going to be attracted to that. Now, as a business owner, you do have to have that go get you to get yourself out there. You do have to have a little bit of that drive to get your face in front of people, to actually to show up and make sure that you have eyes on your business. But it doesn't have to be competitive. It just has to be uniquely
what else
you.
Is there? This is my question though. Like for me, I'm so rage competitive. Like it's hard for me to even figure out what those things would be. And I don't recommend it being money, because there's a certain amount of money that you hit where it doesn't really matter anymore. And it's not as much as what most people think. So money isn't the motivator. I look at money even after I hit the numbers that I thought were big, then money just became part of the game for me to win. It was like my scoreboard of winning was how big the bank account was, or the investments, or the revenue, the monthly profit, or whatever. I would make games out of that.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the things, like, you think, what else could drive somebody to survive as an entrepreneur if you don't find a way to be competitive?
Networking, I can see as another one.
So
meeting good people. It's just
they
like
just love
that
people,
fuels
and
them. Yeah, because my husband, he is not competitive at all in nature.
Okay.
And I know I drive him nuts sometimes with how competitive I am. And like watching him now, like he wants to start like different software and everything. He's taken a step back from Dubsado. He is at that wonderful place where he can take a step back. It's been 10 years. So go build something else. But even watching him in a non-competitive nature, he's out there right now looking for those personal connections instead of the money, the growth, the this. He wants to connect to people on a different level, help them build, help them in different ways. I can't compute that. I don't know what that means. Like, even in every single part of my life, I wake up at 5 a.m. and I go work out. Do my hour
I just
workout.
Got back from the gym.
Exactly. And I am competing against myself the whole time.
Me too.
Like you ran 3 miles yesterday?
I go to the gym and I'm like, okay, I just benched what most 30-year-olds can never bench, and I'm 53. Like, this is my mindset. I feel like not only am I competing with myself, I'm competing against everybody else in the entire world that is my age at the thing that I'm choosing to compete against.
100%.
It's an exhausting way to live.
It is. It's tiring.
Yeah.
It's so tiring. But like, it's such a good outlet too, to be able to, I think so.
You need to talk with my therapist and see. I don't know.
At least mine thinks
I'm
so.
asking for therapy from you right now. This is what I'm trying to get.
If I do not have an outlet where I am able to unapologetically compete and let out that rage, and that's where my workouts are good at, then it might be misdirected in other ways with other people.
Okay.
And I found myself years and years ago with all of that, like, we need to do this, we need to do that, like all of that rage. Like, I'm not a mean person, but you know, like,
no, I know that rage, there's a word that I feel.
Yes.
And it's just competitive spirit would be a nicer way to say it, but it feels like
we're going to call it rage.
Like, I like rage. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
And I found myself at like year 5 of Dubsado, like really just feeling that and just feeling really icky in it. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until I started finding another outlet for me to let out a little bit of that rage so that I can focus it into a better stream in front of
Yeah.
people. That's where I became very dedicated to my morning workouts. And I have been for the
Yeah.
last 5 years, and it's changed who I am as a person, but it
Yeah.
also made me a little bit more even keeled in the emotions so that I can show up as a better human every single day.
Yeah.
So
I,
channel that rage.
So is it working out? Is that where you channel it in working out?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same for me. Like if I don't go and have my workout before the whole day starts, I'm off. I'm off that whole day. When I was growing my agency, I would lift weights in the morning with my lifting buddy, go to work all day, and then I was getting a black belt in karate at night, and I did that for 5 years, 6 years. And then during that time, I had purchased a commercial space, written my book, purchased another commercial space, and still running my agency. And I look back, I'm like, how in the world did I survive that? And what was going on in my head that I felt like I needed to do that? But I wasn't on any medication. I wasn't taking sleeping pills. I was not going to a therapist. I wasn't doing the things that I probably should have been doing.
Other ways.
I was coping through those things. What's your, so I know you obviously use those to cope, but what's your entrepreneurial recommendation for how to cope with them or manage those things in a more sane way than just going and tearing through marathons?
My business coach that I've had for the last 3 years has taught me so much. But one of the things, because I notice when we have that rage, when we have that drive for so long, you can't continue like that forever. Like that is hard to maintain over a long period of time. And you do get burnt out.
I broke at 13 years.
Yes.
I broke.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That is a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It was a long time.
And mine
was
it 9.
It was 9. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, tell me about the break. Okay. So I want to hear about how you broke but keep going with your business coach and what.
Yeah. And it's all part of that same story of, I was talking to my business coach in this year 9. So we are going to be turning 10. So it's very, very recently. And
so this is like last month,
beginning of this year.
You had a breakdown. Okay. I want to hear all about it.
Yes.
But keep going.
I just noticed yes, I was working out. I was channeling all this rage. I was doing all of the things that I knew were good for me, eating right, all of that. But I still was feeling so drained, so tired. And that rage was not turning into a purposeful thing. It was turning into more anger. It was turning into frustration. I would come home from work just like, I'm frustrated that this didn't happen. And it was different than the rage that we had before, which was, I'm on top of it. Like, I got it. I don't care that they said this. Like the negative thoughts start becoming louder and louder when you're in this like really bad headspace. So I was talking to my business coach about it, and she was like, you need to stop working. And I was like, I don't know. I can't compute. What does that mean?
Yeah.
She's like, use 50% of your time at work to do something else. I really, really love interior design. That's something that I do as my passion project, my side hobby. My poor husband, we always have something happening in our house, construction, whatnot. And she goes, devote 50% of your work time to another hobby and purposefully divert your attention away from Dubsado. And I was like, but that feels illegal. That feels rude to my business. She said, because of what you have done the last 9 years, because of the systems that you've set up, the team that you have brought on, they don't need you like they did before. And here I am still running like I'm just the one running the show. I was literally sprinting full force without taking a step back and realizing, whoa, like I built something. I built something really cool. I brought on a team that knows what the heck they're doing and able to go on without me. And so I silently used 50% of my time and focused on building.
You still went into the office.
I still went into the office. I showed up.
Yeah.
I was there if people needed to walk into my
FaceTime.
office. Yep. There for my meetings. People didn't know, except my best friend. People did not know I was doing this.
Mm-hmm.
It literally took 3 weeks. And I was like, I feel like a different person. I feel so, so different. But a little bit attached to that 3 weeks, during that same time, my husband.
Is this just like, this is like earlier this year?
Yeah.
All this?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So during this time too, my husband went
Are you
through.
divulging right now to all of the Dubsado employees that you're like blowing off half the day?
Yeah.
Nobody knew this about.
Things are still happening.
Crazy. She still loves all of you,
do.
and she loves all the work you're doing, but she is not working half the time.
But I am now. I am now.
Okay, you're back.
I'm back.
You're back.
Yeah, because during that same time, my husband went through a little bit of a mental health crisis. So this was back in June, and that was after like I started feeling a little bit better. I started coming back and being like, yeah, I'm here. I'm like full force. And
okay, so hang on, Becca.
Yeah.
So going back, this was your break, like your breakdown. You didn't break down and like go to fetal position, crying for 6 months. It was nothing like that.
I was very depressed, and my husband could definitely see it. My kids could definitely feel it. Like I was not happy and just kind of rolling through the punches. I'd still get up and I'd still work out and try to like pound out everything that I could during that workout. It's just, you wake up and you feel depleted, and that's not how I wanted to live my life. So I was like, do I need to sell Dubsado? Do I need to, what do I need to do to feel better? And so that 50% thing really, really helped. And just when I started to feel better myself, my husband went through a mental health crisis that was a lot worse than what I was going through.
Okay, did he break down into fetal position and cry? Because this is mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I like fell to pieces,
Yeah.
and it lasted 6 months for me, where I just emotionally could not carry it anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like just a puddle of depression and tears, and it was just all on the surface, all the stuff I had stuffed down. So that's what I was hoping from you, but you're too competitive to break down that deep.
I think
but your husband, did he?
I think I'm too strong. And I know that sounds a little weird.
Wait, I'm strong?
But
I did go 13 years. See, at 9 years, I was still going good.
Yeah.
See, I'm just trying to be competitive that I lasted longer than you. If I would have done 50% of the work at 9 years, I probably would have been able to not have the full breakdown at 13 years.
No, I think the reason why I couldn't have the full breakdown is because in the back of my head, I saw my husband slowly breaking down over this remaining. So I knew I had to be the strong one. And so my breakdown was just like, I hate this. I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. And it was just, I feel like I had to internalize a lot because I was avoiding it. I was seeing my husband break down, but I did not have the capacity to be able to help him because I was in a state of crisis. He couldn't help me because he was in a state of crisis. And it was such a hard moment for us. And growing up, and this could be too, I was not taught to really vocalize my feelings. I was taught to just swallow it and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was taught to not even have feelings. That's how stuffed down it had to be. You just weren't allowed to feel. That's how I grew up.
Yeah. 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 And so I just needed to pretend that everything was perfect, everything. Yeah. And so when my husband had his breakdown, his mental health crisis, I was like, holy crap. I helped cause this in a negative way. Like I wasn't there for him because I was so wrapped up in my own feelings and not being able to break down myself. If I just would have gone in fetal position, I may have worked through it faster and been emotionally available and more there for my family. But because I wasn't taught that, I didn't have a therapist at the time. I didn't have the ability to really figure out what emotions I was even feeling. And so when he had his thing, I was like, crap. And that's when I took a month and a half off of work. Wow. And we just worked hard on ourselves, on realignment of our family, on just what it means to take a break. For 9 years, I hadn't taken a break. Yeah, I'd gone on, we'd go on our anniversary trip for a couple of days or whatnot, but what truly stepping away and forgetting everything didn't exist. And I noticed that it was really wearing at us both, and we weren't there for one another. So we realigned our lives in July. It still feels so fresh, but so far away. And
that's pretty fresh.
Yeah.
We're on October 6th recording this. So that was a couple months ago.
Yeah. And the power of therapy too, and just to be able to understand why I was so closed off and blocked, why I'm not able to express myself, how it attributes so much to upbringing and all of that, and just being able to start the practice in letting it go and just let it go. Like, let the raindrops fall. It doesn't need to be so soaked, because that's where that rage can become very negative. It was getting to me. I still have rage, definitely. Even on this healing journey, it's what drives us as entrepreneurs. But being able to accept the fact, like, my business is going to be okay if I am taking off on Friday. If I go away for a whole week for an anniversary trip, that's okay. And sometimes when you have that competitive nature, it gets to a point where you can only one up so many times until you're like way, 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 way high up. And it got to a point where I was just getting frustrated at myself for one-upping all the time. And so now, still competitive, but trying to channel it in a more healthy, appropriate way. And really thankful for the team around me that I've built. And like, my business coach had to remind me hundreds of times, like, you built this. It's you aren't stepping away because you're a failure, because you did something wrong. No, you are able to step away because you built a sustainable business to be able to do that. And I love that. That is being an entrepreneur. Like, we do not sign up to be an entrepreneur so that we can, like, grind it out all day, every day. Like, we don't work that corporate job so that we don't have to be glued to something, yet we still glue ourselves to our desk chair and get things done like that. But, like, reminding ourselves that we too can step away and things are going to be okay. And that's because we have the systems set up to do it. Yeah.
Did you read The 4-Hour Workweek?
I haven't yet.
Oh, you got to read that.
Yeah.
I blame the entire digital nomad industry on that book.
Yeah.
Because of when it came out. And he was kind of the first proponent that I saw of the, go study Brazilian jiu-jitsu in Brazil and live on pesos and earn dollars from your business in the US, that kind of mindset. And I always take a book and I look at it and I say, how can I apply this realistically in my life? And for me, it wasn't going to make sense to go and live in Brazil or Thailand to study Muay Thai kickboxing. That was not realistic for me. But then I did start thinking, man, I own a business here and I have, 12, 15 employees at that time. And I was like, if I can't go on a 3-week vacation, I am doing something wrong. So I started doing that. Instead of taking the 1-week vacation that people in a corporate job take, I was like, I'm going to go on 3-week trips to Hawaii. And I did that. We did that 13 times.
That's awesome.
Over the years, a couple times a year sometimes. And it was amazing just to step out of the day-to-day. That was my realistic way to apply something from that book, but it really helped me to see things a little bit differently. There's so much burden and so much pressure that you self-impose as an entrepreneur. And if your business is doing well, it's even more of a driver for you, because you're like, oh, now we're doing good. Now I'm going to go and conquer the bigger mountain, and it never turns off. And if you are running a business like that and you can't enjoy the fruits of a 3-week trip, and you're going on weekend honeymoon trips or weekend anniversary trips, why are you doing this? Like, why in the world are you living with that much burden in your life?
Yeah. And even, like, what really highlighted it for me too was kid activities. where I was like, so sorry, mom can't do that. I'm at work. Like I can't come and help your school because I'm doing this. And it's like, wait, who's boss? Like I'm my own boss.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
You're your own worst boss.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Yes.
I was the worst boss of myself of all time for years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we do that to ourselves because we feel like we have to, because we feel like our business is going to fail if we step away, because it got to a point where it was so toxic. And that my little breakdown, my husband's big breakdown, like we're such big wake up calls to be like, I want to build the life and business that I want to live, that I want to be in, and it can still be profitable. It can still be successful. We're in one of our biggest phases of Dubsado right now.
So good.
And my foot is still really, really hard on the pedal, but I feel more whole as a person because I can step away, because I can do these things.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. All right. Well, this is a good pausing point. We could keep talking about a lot of aspects of business, but I think that I love where our conversation went. Super aligned with you in the rage that I feel about business in general. I actually love it though, man. I really love that rage competitive feeling. I wouldn't do it a different way, but I do need to help other people do it a different way if they're not wired this way. There has to be, and I think there's a lot of better ways to do it as well, but this is the one that works for me. This is the one that works for Becca.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So you embrace it and just keep going. Let me do a couple of rapid fire questions for you that are not related. These things are sometimes just fun.
Love it.
I like to ask these kinds of things. Okay. Because I'm all about relationships and not just, transactional business stuff. All right. Favorite band. Who's your favorite band of all time?
I love NF. He's a rapper, I believe.
Yeah.
He started out.
I know his work.
Yeah. And he's
kind of a Christian rapper. He started as a Christian rapper or something.
Yeah. And I didn't know that he has OCD as well. And so a lot of his songs are about like just OCD and like trauma in his life. And all of his words, it's great songs to run to. So if I can have a good song to run to, NF usually hits each time.
Yeah, he's got some great great stuff. I have it on a lot of playlists. Okay, I like that one. Good, that's out of left field. What was your favorite or your first concert you ever went to?
My first concert was with my husband. We were dating at the time, and we went to Muse in Las Vegas.
Muse? Yeah. Look at you with like some sick answers. Good for you. So Muse was all the rage back in what was like 2005, 6, 7, somewhere in there.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't hear much of Muse anymore.
I don't either.
But back then they were Knights of Sidonia. Isn't that one of their songs?
That is. Yeah, he's like some opera, like they have like opera training, which is really interesting. Like their vocals are cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. I like it. Favorite movie?
The Proposal.
The Proposal
with Sandra Bullock and
Ryan
Reynolds.
The movie. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
Well, maybe I do know why. My husband is Canadian, and so maybe that's why.
So that hit a nerve. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
What's your dream vacation spot that you haven't been to?
Oh, that's hard because I can't fly. I don't like flying.
What?
Yeah, my dad's a pilot.
You know what?
So
a lot of people weaker than you can fly every day. Does that get you raged up to say I can do this?
It does. And that's the inner conflict in my head.
Okay. You can't fly. So when was the last time you flew?
We actually took a family vacation to Hawaii 2 years ago, and the kids absolutely loved it because I don't fly. So we don't go very many places outside of California. We're really blessed to have so much around here that we can just drive anywhere.
So what did you do? What did you go like all jacked up on Ativan and then get on the plane and settle in?
I sat next to my kids. So I knew if I sat next to my kids, because we had to be split up, just how the plane was situated, I knew I had to be strong. I knew I had to put on a brave face because I couldn't show them that I was scared. So that was my little trick. That was my little game I played with myself. Just play games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Games you have to win.
Yep.
That's really interesting. Okay, so most of your vacations you drive.
Most of them we drive.
Almost all.
Yep. My husband and I found in a little spot about 3 hours away from Los Angeles, Big Sur, and that's where we go all the time. It's a little slice of heaven for us.
Yeah, good for you. Okay. But you are missing out on a lot of
I
pretty
know.
cool
I really
things
want to
in
go
the
to
world.
Switzerland. I want to go to Ireland. Like, I really want
Yes.
to. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. We can work on this. What is your death row meal after they catch you and you're on death row and it's the night before your lethal injection or whatever they do now? What's your meal? What are you choosing?
Mozzarella sticks.
What?
Love myself some like fried mozzarella sticks for some reason.
That does sound good right now.
Oh, so good
me.
with some curly fries, a little garlic on top, and some like buttermilk ranch. Like that's my favorite. With an iced tea.
Really?
Always an iced tea.
Iced tea. These are good, interesting answers. I love it. Okay, Becca, people can find you at dubsado.com, dubsado.com. We will put that in the show notes. What else should they know about Dubsado before we sign off?
Yeah, well, if you are looking to streamline your admin processes and really grow your business, you're going to need good systems to do it. And Dubsado can help you cut out all that stuff that you didn't start your business for so that you can focus on the things that you did start your business for.
And in case you didn't catch it during this, Becca wants to have the greatest product in the whole creative space.
Yeah.
And she's probably not going to stop until it becomes that. So if you want to attach yourself to a software to help you manage your creative business, this is probably a good wagon to hitch yourself to.
Getting better every day.
Yep. I know. I can believe it. Okay. Thank you so much. This was so fun chatting with you. I love where our convo went. Thank you. And we will tag you all up in the show notes and everywhere else when we post things. And thanks so much. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks everybody for listening to this episode of What the Hell, Vedika. We have some more coming up very soon. Actually, a few that are already calendared. And this podcast is going to get super active coming up here. So we'll see everybody again soon.